Do I ever feel like life is a giant chess game? Yes, I do. I do. All right, so we're gonna play the Karo Khan. He plays d3 here. Couple options. I can try to fight for the center, but I'm gonna keep it traditional with d5 here. He's not 300. Okay. I mean, he could be. I don't know. Maybe it's just a new account, but yeah, very good. Yeah. Okay, so we're playing the Karo Khan here. Now, the reason why it normally doesn't play d3 because now I can start to fight and take these two center squares potentially. Like I can start to fight and take the whole center, which is why generally in the Karo Khan after e4 c6 you go d4 to get a bigger pie or a bigger slice of the center here, because now I'm controlling the center with these two pawns here on e5 and d5. Okay, he goes c3. Okay, again, now that I have the center, I've got both diagonals open. We look to develop our piece. Let's attack the pawn. First step in development. I can obviously take on e4. I mean, the problem is now he's trying to take more of the center back, but it's a little bit too late for that, because now I can just take the pawn. We're gonna trade queens and other tactics here. This also, by the way, is a common theme. If there's a position where queens come off in the center of the board and someone's king ends up on like d1 or d8, it's a very common theme. There's a knight g4 and knight g5 trick which hits e4 and f7, or from g4 which hit e5 and f2. Very, very common theme. How to improve after 1900 elo? That's a tough one. I mean, I feel like after 1900 elo, a lot of it probably is the preparation that you come in with, the sort of the preparation, the way you approach the opening phase, and then probably a lot of it also is just tactics. Like how familiar are you with like the structures of the pawns and the pieces, and then just like the pure opening prep. How do you learn all these things from books, coach, or being experienced? I mean, it's a bit of everything. A lot of this is from playing a lot. So I think I told you guys, thinking a true about deck for the 10 months. Appreciate it. Yeah, what I was gonna say is I think that what I was gonna say is that it's a mix of everything. But I will say this: I was very lucky that my stepfather, he's a professional chess coach, and I learned a lot from him. Sort of the openings that he gave me were very flexible. They're very simple, easy to understand, almost from not from the absolute get-go, but probably from the time it was like 1600 till master. The openings he gave me were so flexible, so easy to play, that I mastered those. I mastered sort of the piece placement, where pieces belong, the pawn structures, and so forth. And I cannot understate how important that was for me and how lucky I was as well. So that's what I would say. And I'm not joking. Yeah, my stepfather is still teaching chess for a living. Yeah, he's still teaching chess professionally in New York City. He's been teaching at one school in particular, Hunter Elementary School, Hunter Elementary and College, or since 1978, I believe he's been teaching there since 1978. You guys, he's been teaching for a very, very long time. I think he's the person who's been at Hunter the longest at this point. So yeah, he's been around quite a while. Okay, knight f5 would be a good move if I didn't have a bishop on c8, so I'm gonna take here. My nephew goes to Hunter. Awesome, master of hilarity. Yeah, he's been, I think he's the oldest. I think at this point he's like longest. I mean, he's not tenured technically, but he's basically been working. He's been working there longer than anybody else. Let's take the bishop. Yeah. Was I good at chess before my stepfather coached me? I did not really play chess before my stepfather was in my life, so I guess you could say that kind of. No, I didn't. 1978, I was 1 year old then. Yeah, Slim G, no worries, it's all good. All right, so anyway, I've got good development here. My opponent's gonna develop too, but the problem is he tried to go too fast and furious with knight f5, and so now he's down a piece. So we're gonna finish our development first. Again, same concepts. Put the pieces in the center of the board, maybe line up a checkmate. We have extra juicer, so it's all very, very good here. Hunter versus Dalton, the epic East Side battle. Yes, JSM. Back in the old days, that's what it was like. Okay, so again, I just developed the center. Pawn is guarded, so no worries. We just developed the rooks, and then we look to maybe play on the king side. This bishop again is really nice, targeting h2. No, but I mean, I'll give you guys an example. So like, here's the problem though. So with chess players, okay, I moved the bishop out of the way, by the way, to make sure I didn't hang the bishop. The problem that I would say is like, so Vidit's concerned. I'm sure there are plenty of players who are concerned about it, but the problem is how do you really express those concerns? Because the problem is, if I'm being very blunt about FIDE, most people who have concerns or say something, FIDE's gonna be like, well, you know, kind of screw them. Who cares what they think? They're not important. And I'm just saying that because that's honestly the mentality. I mean that they have. And And so when they have that mentality of not listening to what people say, like that's kind of why you need to have people a little bit more united, so it's more standard stance. For example, you know, if there's a hard lockdown where like basically people are not allowed to go out, there's a curfew, things are shut down and so forth in Latvia, if you had players like together, if you had a group of like 10 players or 20 players who are like, you know, it's just not acceptable, FIDE would almost certainly have to listen to them. But when it's individually players, one or the other saying things, then there's much more room to much more room for them to be like, just ignore it, kind of. I think FIDE thinks FIDE is not important. I mean, I would say that in a way, yes, I do. So that's what I would say. Okay, now I'm attacking the queen here, so I move the knight out of the way. Again, I'm up a piece here, so I'm willing to trade off pieces. What can FIDE do to get more money? You know, I've said it before, you know, I've said this before, and you know, it's not all about bashing FIDE by any means, or saying how terrible the chess world is, because I mean, I think there have been strides that have been made in the past couple of years that are good. But you know, what I would say is that I just over the years, the inability of the governing body, no matter what government is, no matter who's leading FIDE at the time, it's pretty insane to compare that to what's going on online now. You know, if you look at our streams, you look at any number of the chess streams, myself, Botez, and so forth, there are a lot of big sponsors interested. You look at Chess 24 with their Meltwater events, you're seeing they're getting big sponsors in the 6 figures. And FIDE, meanwhile, for their over the board events, basically can't actually get sponsors, which I think says a lot. I mean, it really does say a lot about the state of FIDE. All right. Now I've got my queen here. My opponent stopped this checkmate. I try to line up the same checkmate here. But one thing I will say, you guys, you know what you probably will have noticed from these first 2 games? It's the same sort of piece placement. You'll notice the bishops and the concepts of like the battery and the battery with the checkmate. It's very similar to the first game. That's why what I would say is a lot of games at the lower levels, you're going to get the similar structures and similar piece placements, which is why the pattern recognition is so crucial. And that's also why players who start when they're very young remember much better, because it's like in their head they see this position like, wait, I had that last game. They're able to connect the dots a lot better. Okay, I'm gonna go E3. I'm gonna attack the queen here. Just open this up. Also, I weaken the kingside pawns here on F2 and G3. Thank you to Aluvat, Lord of Light, for the prime. Thank you so much to Aluvat. Okay, now I have a tough decision. I'm gonna go for the simple play here for you guys, which is, since I have 2 bishops and he is 1, I'm gonna trade down. I'm willing to trade down all the material here. E3 before queen e5 is more accurate, yeah, but we're playing for themes, you guys. Again, now I'm gonna trade the bishops off, and we're gonna reach an endgame where I have an extra bishop. Very important. Very important that when you're ahead of material, if like you have king safety, your king's not under attack, or there's not like a pawn really close to your king, that you're willing to that you trade down material. Thank you to Valfadare for the prime. Thank you so much to Valfadare. Okay, so we trade down. So now we have an extra bishop. All right. Was bishop e6 good? There were many moves that were good. Okay, I'm also going to take the open file now. Many moves were good, but I'm playing for the themes. I'm not sure why he took the pawn, but that's just a free rook. Nihal doesn't know what to do either, based on swear, but this is the point that I'm making, you guys. So like, if you look at the Grand Swiss, the problem is individually there are several of us who are saying things, but like the thing is, if it's not a collective voice that's saying these things, then you can't, then it's not going to have the same effect. All right, so basically going for the checkmate here. I'm gonna go bishop b6, rook e2. Have I met Nihal? I played Nihal in the Tata Steel event in November of 2019. One of the last events that I ever played. And I intentionally worded it that way, you guys. That was intentional, the way that I worded it. So yeah, that I played him in the Tata Steel event in November of 2019. So, okay, we double up. This, by the way, is one of the most powerful concepts in chess, the double rooks on the 2nd rank. You see the number 2, or on the 7th rank. It can be like this for black, or white can have 2 rooks here. So yeah, that was an intentional. I worded that way on purpose. But yeah, so that's what I say. Okay, let's go check, and now I checkmate with the other rook, and that's game over. Yeah, I mean, there are many ways that you could win these games more simplistically, but I'm trying to play for the concepts. so people see the pure concepts, because the pure concepts are really important. At a certain level, of course, like I said, as you get better and better, your opponents everybody understands the basics and the fundamentals. It becomes harder and harder, which is why the preciseness matters so much more. Okay, now apparently everybody in this viewer arena is from Scandinavia. They're playing d5 and knight f6. Okay, now knight f6 is another way to play. What I would say is if you're a stronger player, you can definitely book up and play like c4 here, and you can go into all the heavy theoretical lines. But I would say if you're newer to the game, you should not play c4 here and guard the pawn. You should play for simple development: knight c3, bishop c4, knight f3. Keep the flow simple. Do not overcomplicate it. I'm gonna do Electric Masada for the 35 months. Now he goes e6. I'm gonna let him take the pawn. This is a mistake, by the way, because now I can take and just develop very quickly. But again, I kind of want us to get to normal standard position so I can explain some more themes. Why so many ads? I'm not running ads. What are you guys talking about? Is maybe Twitch is hitting you up with the ads. Okay, so I'm gonna go d4. I'm not running any ads. What are you guys talking about? I'm not running any ads. Okay, go bishop d3. Yeah, it's basically build the habits. Okay, again, knight c6. He has knight before, but I can just move the bishop back. So I'm gonna castle. He's probably gonna castle. I'm gonna go h3. I want to stop bishop g4. Very important that he doesn't get the pin. So I'm looking for bishop g5, and thus far we're actually playing a mirror game so far. Do I ever get tired of chess? No, I love the game of chess. I absolutely love the game of chess. I will always love the game. I will say this. There's some things with like certain bodies, organizing bodies or things like that I'm not always a fan of, but the game itself, I mean, I love the game. I will play the game until the day I die. The game itself I just love, and I always will. Okay, let's go here, bishop b3. I'm gonna go a3 next move. Mirror games are it depends. Now I can trade bishops, but my instinct is that his pawn here is a little bit weak, so I can maybe target it. I'm gonna go here. Idea to play a3, remove the knight. Like if I get the bishop here and I can go here, remove it, then I'm gonna win the pawn. He's guarding it with 1-2, and I'm attacking it with 1-2. So if I can remove the knight, then I have 1-2 attacking, and he'll only have 1 defending. Yeah, no, I mean, I love chess. I absolutely love the game. Also, you know what I would say about this Grand Swiss? You know what I would say about these tournaments? It's not a tournament like the Candidates, for example, where it's very limited players. I think it's a lot easier talking about like 10 players to try and make. You're talking about 10 players trying to get them to go to a location. Those sorts of smaller events make a lot of sense. But having a big event where during these times where there's clearly an outbreak going on, it definitely is a problem. And what I would say is also is like if Nihal says something, or I say something, or Vita says something, like you see a handful of people saying things. But if like collectively like 20 players got together and said we're just not going to play in this event, FIDE would have to listen to the players. They would have to. They would not be able to be like okay, we're just going to go along with our plans, because they couldn't hold the event. Let's take the knight here on d5. So yeah, all right, I'm up a pawn here again. These pieces aren't developed, so I would like to develop the bishop, develop the rook at some point. That would be great here. Players will be like, this doesn't sit right with me, they'll go regardless. Well, they probably don't have a choice. That's kind of what I'm saying. Why isn't there a players association? Well, people have tried in the past, but as I said, I think the models have been kind of flawed. Kasparov's model was sort of, his model was kind of screw FIDE. I'm going to do my own thing and overtake them. So that was Kasparov's idea, which I think is, excuse me, which to me is completely insane. Completely insane. I'm going to be honest, completely insane to think like that. I think everybody in a way needs to work together. So that was Gary's concept, was I'm just going to take over, like we're going to make our own association for all the top players, we're going to get big sponsors, etc. So that was Gary's idea. After Gary, there was that. Actually, let me focus on the game for a second, explain my idea. I'm going to go here. The point is that I was worried he could go here and attack towards my king. Very worried. So I put the bishop here. I keep an attack on this diagonal. I also attack this way, but I also have this move, and now the queen can't go to any of these squares basically. But yeah, so what I would say is that like there was the There was the ACP, which still kind of exists in some form, but the point of the ACP was a little bit weird. It was sort of like they were collecting small dues, and I think they were trying to hold some events for various players. So it was a little bit uncoordinated, I guess I would say. Let's go bishop g5. I hit the queen. He has to go over to save the queen. I'll probably just go back. Rook e1 is also maybe a good move here, but yeah, it's yeah, I feel like it's you need something that is like you represent concerns and you work alongside Fide in some way. But I don't really have like a hard idea. It's just if there ever was something that I want to do related like chess politics down the road, that's where it would be in. That's what I would say. E4 or D4 for 2300. I think it depends on your style, junior prodigy. If you're very aggressive, like if you're a very aggressive player, you should play like Bobby Fischer and play E4. That's what I would say. If you are very aggressive, you should play E4. If you're not super aggressive, I want to say D4. If you're more positional, D4 or C4 make more sense. That's what I would say. Did I ever meet Bobby? No, I never met Bobby Fischer. Now I have a couple ways to be doing well here. I can play for the flashy tactics with bishop h7, but actually if I take, he can't take because my knight guards, and so I'm just up a piece here. You could do it like it happened with tennis ATP WTA. Yeah, I mean, who knows? But again, I think the hard thing is that again, it's very tricky because the lines start to get blurred, and it's I don't know. It's not easy at any rate. Vichy was not going to Riga. No, Vichy was not on the list of players for that event. I can trade bishops on d7 again. Here we go again. We have extra pieces, so I'm very happy to just trade off. It's not fair. This guy will lose a lot. This is unrated. Okay, so again, what do we have? Bishop knight versus bishop. We both have queens, we both have rooks, both have bishops, but I have an extra knight. So now I'm again, same thing. I'm happy to trade down the materials. Yeah, basically what I would say, you guys, the fact that there was no news yesterday means, to me, what that means is it means that basically Fide has not succeeded, and they're trying again desperately to get some exemption to hold the event today. The fact that there was no news yesterday tells me that they failed, and it's like go try again and hope that, like, I guess whoever makes the decisions is like, okay, we'll give you an exemption. That's my read of the situation. I don't really dream about chess. No, not really. No, I'm just gonna go here, move the bishop, trade the rooks off the board. So again, very simple, just trade off materials. That's what I would say. But yeah, no, I mean it's a tough situation. Let's go bishop d2 here. I'm 864, want to get to 1000 by the end of the year. What information should I be consuming to get there? What information should you be consuming to get there, to get to 1000? I would say puzzles probably. Let's take Latvian government would kill their government if they give the green light for the event. I don't know about that. I feel like there are a lot of shady deals going on regarding, like, frankly, weapons and everything else that happen, and people aren't rioting against their governments. So yeah, I'm a little bit questionable on that, you guys, but hey. Just saying. Just saying, you guys. Let's take the pawn. Do I ever feel like life is a giant chess game? Yes, I do. Okay, so now we're just gonna put the bishop back here and guard everything. If I was Fide president in general, what would the single most substantive action that I would do be? You know what it would be? I would actually tell you what it would be. You know what it would be? I think the first thing I would do is basically this might be really harsh. I would say that probably the entire governing body, that basically the first people or the first thing would be that I think that almost nobody should be involved who's over the age of 50. Actually, that's what I would say to start with. I think anybody over the age of 50 probably should not really be involved. I think a lot of the problems regard to the fact that our mentality towards the game is very much stuck in like the old world and the old way of thinking. That's actually what I would say. And that's nothing to do with like the age specifically. It's due to the fact that chess world's been very stagnant for a long time. That's what I would say. That's what I would say, honestly. I think chess world needs fresh ideas. We need fresh ideas. That's ageism. No, I mean I think it's the ideas are not fresh. That's what I would say. The ideas are not fresh. The ideas are not fresh. You know, a lot of people have had ideas for a very long time. No, it has nothing to do with Nigel, but I think chess needs fresh ideas. Chess needs fresh ideas, and we've been trying a lot of the same things for the last, like, I feel like probably ever since Gary's, maybe ever since like the mid 90s, a lot of the ideas in chess, it feels like the same people who are in chess that are still very much involved at the top. And I think that's what I would say, is that you need fresh ideas. Okay, now I'm gonna go queen e4, try to create checkmates here. Queen's right in the center. He does have a check, but I just scoot the king out of the way here. Go queen e4. But I think getting sponsors actually is also a huge thing. Sponsors is very important. Getting sponsors so you can attract the talent, maybe is the single most important thing. That's what I would say. Actually, you know what I would say, the FIDE president, honestly, I think the FIDE president, Arkady Dvorkovich, he's done a pretty good job. I will say this, he's done a good job. I mean, I think the thing is that as I see it, he's done a good job of the delegation of where people are doing things, kind of. I think the people in certain positions aren't doing a great job. Let's go checkmate. Let's keep going.